Item 10A, adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute contracts with West Yost Associates for engineering design services in the amount of $120,300 and with NGO Incorporated for engineering geotechnical services in the amount of $30,000 for the Glenview Water Tank Number 3 replacement project.
Honorable Mayor, Council members, good evening. I have here Will Anderson, who is the project manager and who will help me with all of the answers to your questions. The purpose of this project is to replace tank number 3. The tank is located on San Bruno Avenue and performs a critical function in our water system, providing storage for peak water flow and also fire flow. The tank is structurally deficient to withstand a major seismic event. Back in January of last year, you rejected all of the bids received for the retrofit of this tank. The reason why you rejected all of the bids was that based on our market assessment at that time, the received proposed cost for the retrofit of the tank was equal or maybe slightly even higher than the cost would have been to replace the tank with a new tank. Since then, the city retained a structural expertise firm to develop the specification for the tank. The specification for the tank was developed specifying all of the characteristics of the tank, such as the capacity of the tank, the life expectancy of the tank, pre-stressed concrete versus steel, seismic loading for the tank. Also, a geotechnical firm was retained and a preliminary study was conducted for the site. Now, having the specification for the tank ready, it's necessary to design the site itself and to develop the construction specification to go out for bid. This site-specific design would include demolition of the existing tank, also development of the design for the connections to the tank, and all of the site work necessary to install the new tank at this location. Also, reason why 2 proposals were received, West Yost was deemed the most qualifying to provide that service for us based on their specific knowledge of our water system. They are helping us with the development of the water system master plan. The recommendation of the preliminary geotechnical study was also to further investigate to determine if there are no faults, traces in the vicinity of the existing tank. This specific field investigation requires specialized expertise, reason why NGO was recommended by West Yost as the best firm to provide us with that specialized expertise. The total cost of this project is estimated at this time to be around 2.4 million, and the cost of the tank was included in our 10-year financial projection for the Water Enterprise Fund. I will stand for any question that you might have, and Will help me with the answers.
Good. Any questions of staff at this time?
Through the chair.
Ken?
You give a brief explanation in the staff report on the preliminary geotechnical study, $9,000 study. So now with something in the line of $30,000 from possibly a different consultant, what will happen? I mean, is there going to be test borings to what extent? Because, there were test borings for the $9,000 preliminary study, so I'm just curious as to what constitutes something that is, three times more expensive.
I will try to summarize at high level, and maybe Will can add to it. Yes, you are correct. The first geotechnical study was based on borings, and this study will open cut in the field and will trace in the field any possible remnants of any fault trace, what they can see in the field itself. That this is a very extensive field work conducted by the expert team. That maybe if you can add anything else.
Yeah, the initial soils report was, a standard template for any construction project, soils borings, and analysis thereof. But due to the site's proximity to the San Andreas Fault, it was highly recommended that and due to concerns about surface fault rupture, where the ground surface actually gets displaced, it was recommended that further investigations be conducted and, like Clara was saying, a long and deep trench to analyze the subsurface conditions. So that way, all our bidders, designers, have much more accurate information to design to.
Is there a chance that it's not a suitable site? Is there a chance that this investigation, uncovers the fact that there are severe enough trace faults there that it would be highly, recommended that a tank not be, constructed there?
Based on our feedback from the experts so far, the answer is no. Maybe they will have to, depending on the result of the investigation, they will have to include in their design criteria. But it's based on the feedback so far, it's not possible. That would be a fail of law, locating the tank at that location.
I think the design of the foundation can be adjusted accordingly to the parameters that are set forth based on the results of the soils report.
And just finally, none of this study or none of this design was incorporated in the retrofit project.
Correct.
Any questions or action by the council? This is the resolution.
To the chair, how old is the tank? What's the age of the tank?
I believe it was constructed in 1951, so we got at least 50, 60 years of useful life out of it.
I mean, currently it's probably not as useful as it could be. That's why we're wanting to redo it. And what is the life expectancy of the new tank?
Be 50 years.
Okay. And just going back to what the vice mayor said as far as the findings, are those going to be analyzed as far as just the stabilization? Because obviously, I don't know what quake it will withstand.
That will be another result of this additional study. We'll get more site-specific information, like ground accelerations, here again, setting parameters that are applicable to the soils conditions that are out there, which our tank designers can account for and build into their design to resist those forces.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I'll introduce the resolution.
Councilmember O'Connell.
Aye.
Councilmember Medina.
Aye.
Councilmember Salazar.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Ibarra.
Aye.
Mayor Ruane.
Aye.